Okay, good morning. Listen, I know it's Tuesday for everybody in here, but it's Thursday for us as a football team, and this is a kind of a completion day as far as finalizing the plan. Thursday type practice from a script standpoint, and then we'll travel tomorrow. So obviously this press conference is a little bit different than what we normally have, having some extra time, but. I think it's a great opportunity for our team. I'm excited about going on the road for the first time. You know, I think you find out a lot about your team when you go on the road, and this is not just any place we're going. This is a huge challenge with NC State. They got good players, and this is a very tough place to win. There's no doubt about that. We know that as well as anybody. And be honest with you, we'll have to play our best game to this point. You know, I think that's the key for us, is to continue to get better each week. I thought we improved in game 2, and we're going to need to make a lot of improvement in game 3, especially to be able to win on the road. So that's the challenge that we got. NC State offensively, very impressed with what they're doing. They do a lot of some of the similar things that we do, different in some ways too, but they know what they're doing. They really want to run the football. They're very committed to that, and get a lot of big plays as a result from a play action standpoint. That's where most of their big plays have come from. So we've got to do a great job there. Love their backs. I got a couple guys that are big and strong, run really hard. The quarterback is a big, strong guy. He's very instinctive. He's made a lot of plays for them as far as being able to have some very timely first down scrambles in third and medium situations. So he's got a good feel of in pocket presence. Their offensive line is big. They're 6'7", type guys. I think their right tackle is about 350 or so. And then Crisp over on the left side he's about 6'7", very familiar with those guys. So we'll have to play well against them. They're doing a really good job. Their receivers, they've got some good skill guys that have caught the ball well for them. I think they got a freshman, number 1, who's been very impressive. He's the guy that they've been really featuring and getting him the ball a lot. Number 2 is another guy that makes plays for them in a lot of different ways. He's a return guy. He's their move guy. So he's a guy that you got to keep an eye on. Defensively, very active. I think this is based on what we've seen on film, this is the best group we've played to this point. That first group is very good. They're creating a new line of scrimmage. They come off the ball with a great motor and intensity. They play well with their hands. There's a lot of movement, a lot of slanting, and so they're creating some problems as far as being able to target guys with the movement that they present. So we've got to do a good job there. And their leading tacklers, their middle linebacker, Robert Caldwell. So we've been messing with Robbie all week, having some fun with that, and very good in the secondary. Their DBs, their corners in particular, are very aggressive. They'll mix it up from a coverage standpoint, challenge you, and so our receivers are going to have to show up. They're going to have to show up, and they're going to have to accept the challenge, because these guys are playing with a lot of confidence and going to present some challenges to our guys. And then special teams, their kicker's been outstanding. I think he's 7 for 7 right now in field goals, and he's also not giving teams many opportunities from a return standpoint, just like our guy. I think they're both top 3 or 4 in the country from a kickoff standpoint. And then again, just for us, it's just being able to stay focused on what we're trying to do on all 3 phases, executing at a high level, taking care of the football, playing with great effort and energy, being physical, making a difference in special teams somewhere in the game, and not having critical errors. You just don't want to do anything to give a crowd like that energy, because their team will draw on that energy, and I expect them to play at a very high level. So excited again about going up there, and it's been, I guess, 12 days or so since we played, and our guys are ready to go. They're ready to play, and again, it's a Thursday mentality for us, and that's where we are from a preparation standpoint. And then last thing, just since we hadn't had an opportunity to get together last week, it came out that Clemson was ranked 21st in the U.S. News rankings, public universities, and that's a real testament to President Barker and his leadership, and it should be recognized. And I know he's on his way out, but he's done an outstanding job in helping us, as a university get where we are. And with that, I'll take your questions.
Dabo, how has the offense and the receivers have they stepped up without Sharon there? And is there any update on when Sharon might need surgery for that?
Yeah, we're planning on doing Sharon's surgery. I think we said right before the BC game, because we have fall break right after that. So that'll give him a little more time without the extra pressure of having to get to class. He'll have a couple days that next week, and then we'll get him back. Should have him back by spring ball, and might probably will not have contact with him in the spring, but should be able to get him back out there and put him in green and do everything. Just don't tackle him. So that's kind of our hope for him. But as far as guys stepping up, listen, Adam Humphries is he's a special player. And we went into this season saying, well, hey, we got 4 starters, and Adam was we were kind of mixing and matching. Sharon was actually playing the 5 and the 9. I don't know if y'all noticed that or not, but he's been playing both positions in our first couple of games. And then same thing with Adam, he was playing the 5 and the 2. So Adam was, those 4 were kind of taking the majority of the reps. So now we lose a great player, but we're fortunate to have another great player like Adam who can step in and perform at a high level. So from that standpoint, I think we're okay. Where it hurts us is our depth, because now you're bringing in young guys, as opposed to rolling Adam Humphries in there, a guy with a lot of experience, has played, understand what he's doing. Now you're rolling in G-Hop and TJ and Mike, and we're very fortunate to have a guy like Matt Porter. Nobody says anything about Matt Porter, but he knows what he's doing. He can play any of the positions, and he can get the job done. So, but that's what we got. All good players. We just got to really ramp up the development of Mike and TJ and G-Hop. And, very proud of how Jamon played in the South Carolina State game. And I think that's really helped him. He's had a good week of practice. All those guys have.
Coach, do you dislike these Thursday games, or is this just a hand you're dealt?
Just a hand you're dealt. I mean, I just, whenever we don't really get caught up in that. I mean, whenever we play or whoever we play or where we play, all that stuff has nothing to do with the game. I mean, let's be focused on what we got to do to win the game. If we're going to play on Tuesday, it doesn't matter. Here's what we got to do to win the game. None of the rest of that matters. So I think it's great that we get an opportunity to showcase our university and our program on national TV. So whenever you get that opportunity, I think it's a positive for you.
Roderick McDowell, what was his status over the weekend there in practice?
He's good. He's practiced every day. He's good to go. He'll start.
Coach, is the opportunity exists for Sharon to get through the NCAA appeal, or because he played in the first 2 games? I mean, does he have a chance to get this year back?
We're working on that, and I expect that he will, based on the rule that they have. I can't imagine that he would not, but we'll let all the people who handle that stuff go through that process. But I expect him to get that year, which will be great.
Is this an opportunity for maybe Zach Brooks to play some wide receiver, or is it the plan to keep him at running back still?
No, he's running back. I mean, he catches the ball well out of the backfield, but it'd be really hard to just take him right now and just put him at wide out. I mean, if we got into a bad situation, then definitely he's a guy that has good enough hands that we could stick out there. But it's I know that sounds easy. It's a lot harder than people think it is to just, hey, go line up out there and play wide out. There's a lot more to it than that. It's a difficult transition for anybody, and no matter whether you're a great receiver coming out of high school and you're stepping in, or you're a guy moving from another position. But he has the hands, and again, if we had some type of crisis situation, then you look at any option. Last year we were taking Adam Humphries and putting him at DB because it was a crisis management situation. So all bets are off, but we're not in any type of crisis mode or anything like that. And plus, we need Zach. Zach is really bringing some great things to our running back position. So we need him right where he's at. for now.
Coach, how different is NC State under Dave Doran than it was under? Is it noticeably different?
Yeah, there's just different philosophy-wise. I mean, listen, Coach O'Brien's teams played hard, played tough, very difficult. I mean, they kicked our butt 2 years ago. We went up there and that was about as miserable a game as one of the most miserable ones I've been through. We didn't even give ourselves a chance. They played on a 20-yard field. We played on a 100-yard field. Not a good recipe. They still playing hard. Just the philosophy has changed, and that's offensively in particular. Just very different in what they do from an offensive standpoint. Quarterback is much more of a factor in the run game. As far as called runs with the quarterback, that wasn't really something that they did a lot. Even when they had Russell, they were still more traditional type of offense. But with what they're doing now, very, very difficult from a formation standpoint. Lots of shifts and motions. They try to outflank you quickly, whether it's the speed sweeps or getting the ball on the perimeter right now with the screen game. So just create more challenges from a philosophy standpoint than what they were doing previously.
Is this the game where kind of 2 years ago where your whole philosophy came from, the nameless, faceless opponent? Because you've won 10 straight against unranked teams since that game.
That's been my philosophy. It didn't start 2 years ago. It didn't take a butt whooping to start thinking that way. It's just, I'm 43, but sometimes when you're dealing with a bunch of 18 and 19-year-olds, it might take a little longer for them to figure that out. And we're a young team. I mean, it's just that simple. I remember 2 years ago very well, and 42 freshmen on the roster. Y'all have heard me say that many times, and that's what you got. Half your team is very young, and when we go down there to Georgia Tech and we get beat, I think we were like 8-1 when we went up there, and we're still, I think, a top 10 team. But it was like the world was over. The world was over. All of a sudden now we're not. Because I think we were number 4 or 5 when we got beat by Georgia Tech, and now all of a sudden the world's come to an end. Oh my gosh, we've blown it, and I just don't think we're very focused. We weren't very mentally tough. I think the guys learned through that process of the season always starts tomorrow. You put everything you got. This is the biggest game of the year. Period. It's not the one we've already played. It's not the one we're going to play. This is the biggest game of the year. And just that mentality, I think, has finally kind of crept into our team. And doesn't mean we're not going to lose a game. And when people say, oh, you shouldn't lose a game to somebody, well, listen, you got to give the other team some credit too. I mean, other teams have good players. Everybody's got good coaches. It's hard to win. It's hard to win. Rankings have nothing to do with it. It's about 100 yards, 53 1/3, and what you do in between those lines. And none of the rest of that stuff matters. It really doesn't. And that's what makes college football so much fun.